everybody. Welcome to Guild Chat. I'm your host, Ruby, and we're here to talk about the Living Stories side of last week's Guild Wars 2 episode. We've got a lot going on in this. Somebody tried to kill Queen Jenna. She was having none of it. We've got a new map. We've got Bloodstone Crazed Centaurs. We've got a guy down a well and a whole lot more. So let's introduce our guests and start talking.
Hey, I'm Andrew Gray. I'm the team lead of episode 4.
Hey, I'm Kirk Wilford. I'm a game designer on episode 4.
And we are super serious today, so...
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Just
That's
FYI.
how we roll.
Yes. I do want to let you guys know we are going to be answering some of your questions at the end. So
But only
if
the good
you've
ones.
got them... Shh! You said you were going to behave yourself.
Damn it.
We are going to be answering some of your questions at the end. So if you've got them, if some questions come up during the episode, just put them in chat and we will go through and take a couple of them there here at the end. Let's go ahead and just start by talking about the Lake Doric map and what you guys loved about it. Kirk, you focused more on the open world than
Correct.
story, right?
Yeah.
All right, so it's all on you.
Oh, man.
Are you ready?
No pressure.
Absolutely.
All right, so Frosty and I are going to go outside.
All right. I got this.
We'll
Let's
get a
go.
beer. That's new.
Yeah, Lake Doric. I mean, it's an area. There's hasn't been a level 80 map for like the Valley Kryta area in Guild Wars 2. So that was something we really wanted to do. It's one of my favorite regions in Tyria. I play human, so human meta, yay. So we really wanted to do that, and just creating it was fun just because there's a lot of history there that we could play with.
Yeah.
Just you want to touch base on that? We both longtime players of Guild Wars 1. There's a lot of history there from Watchtower Coast area. We wanted to pay homage to that as best as we can.
Yeah. Now, and I do like that history. I mean, I've really enjoyed having the new maps and going to new areas recently. I like coming back to Kryta and going into that familiar place. One of the things that we had been talking about is that we've got this whole war with the White Mantle going on, and we've got that feeling of this constant combat going on and that push-pull. Do you guys want to talk about getting that in there a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So there's a variety of different events on there. Obviously, there's the 3 areas that you can actually reclaim for the Seraph, where the White Mantle will take it. And we wanted to do something there where not only do the sort of battle lines get pushed and drawn back, but also that there's reasons for you to sort of split and focus on multiple objectives at once. And that's why we did the legendary guys attacking you at the same time. It's sort of like one group go off and deal with this guy, and the other one to stay and defend. So it sort of gives a big wide area of the entire map. Sort of feels like it's in constant battle. So it's, well, not constant battle, but like at that time, it's like, man, this area is getting hit.
Yeah.
It's an active battlefield, right? Like you're going in the middle of an attack. So there's lots of things that you have to take care of.
Yeah, it's not just, okay, this tiny little event over here and everything else is nice and peaceful and quiet.
Right.
Because the White Mantle are considerate that way.
Yeah.
And they don't want to overwhelm you.
We also wanted to give a sense that not just succeeding an event, but how well you succeed the event impacts the next event. So we have these little skirmishes that kick off, and as you complete one, they actually sort of originate on a beach. It was sort of like a beach landing sort of idea, I guess. Anybody you keep alive from that event sort of continues to path towards the next event. A lot of times there will actually be intermediary events between them, so they'll like path through one of the Jade Cannons, for example. So if you keep 5 Seraph guys alive, in other events, you keep the guys alive, they might salute you and thank you or whatever, and then go off on their way. These guys are like, no, this is a war, I'm going to help you. So if you stick with the Seraph patrols, you can actually get long distances around a map, and even if you're just by yourself or like with one friend or something, you can still feel like, hey, I have an army with me. Right. Isn't that convenient?
Yeah, I like the payoff. I like that the Seraph NPCs are useful, and it's not just, okay, thanks, bye, see you later, good luck in whatever you do next. They're gonna come with you, and they're going to be useful, and that's like I was saying, there's a payoff, and it makes it worth it to stay there and help them out, and it's not just window dressing.
Yeah. The White Mantle army is not a trivial army to fight.
I've noticed. Ow.
When we originally just
Thanks.
took core game Seraph guys in there and said, you guys got this, they did not have that. It did not turn out. Go figure. Swing your sword once every 5 seconds at guys with 6 different skills. was not a
Kinda
fair
sucks.
fight.
Yeah.
So that was something we
May they
decided
rest in
early on,
peace.
is that the Seraph army was going to get a pretty good facelift and go in there and wreck some stuff.
It works both ways too, right? Like when you don't take out some of the White Mantle commanders, they will boost the morale of those
Yeah.
around them. You know, so it works both ways. They help you. The Seraph help you if you help them out. But then if you let White Mantle commanders make it, then it's bad times for you.
Oh, I like that less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta stop them.
So from a development perspective on the back end, how was that different from previous maps that you've done? Was it harder or just slightly different?
I'd say it was slightly different because we were making guys that we knew were going to be fighting on the same side as players, as opposed to against them. So there's different things to factor into that. AI versus AI is going to be different than player versus AI. But other than that, like, it wasn't too much
these
different.
guys just stick around.
Yeah.
At the end.
It's fun. We're like puppet masters almost. Sometimes we like go onto our test client and just watch them fight each other and see who won. We
And like cackle.
cackle, place bets, stuff like that. So
Cackle when we send the centaurs that throw them across the screen.
Dude, we need to talk about this.
That's this guy. He's the centaur master over here.
I'm unhappy about this. Actually, let's go ahead and talk about the centaurs because
All right.
that's, again, ow.
like
You don't even look a little bit sorry is the thing.
Hey, when you hear the centaurs hear that they can be outrun by humans for so long, it's gonna it's gonna get to them. It upsets them.
All right, I have said
So-
it a few times.
Exactly.
maybe you
might have
should've
heard it a
watched your
couple times.
mouth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just pay more attention. to
I
what you
never
say.
asked for any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But this is, so we've got this thing that's like a mini dungeon
right.
in there, and so many tramplings
Mm-hmm.
are happening.
Yeah, we wanted to design an area that was something that was designed. We could build an area for groups because there's a lot of areas that can be done by yourself. There's places for explorers, there's places for people who prefer combat. But there wasn't that many places for just like if you wanted to take a Zerg or a big group, your guild into, and just kind of like see if you can conquer it, right? So with the Centaur camp, especially with the inclusion of the leather farm that it serves as, we were able to do that. Like, it's easy if you start at the bottom, but then you you get introduced to, oh crap, there's centaurs that trample you, and oh crap, they're getting stronger.
Yes.
And it gets harder as you go up, but the rewards also get better. So we just wanted to make it kind of a fun little area that you can go in with your guild, or someone tags up, and it's a fun little thing you can do every so often. There's some events that take place up there. There's chests you can try to loot, and once you get up there, like not on top of the good rewards that are up there, you get a really cool view of all of Lake Doric. You can glide into many areas of the map. So it's just one of those cool, fun areas. It's not really something that we do much in the game, so I thought it would be something cool to add.
Yeah, it's got a different feel to it.
Yeah.
It's funny, we make a lot of events expecting players to go in there with a very delicate touch, and then they roll through it with 50 players and just smash everything,
Yes.
as you have often seen. So in this case, we're like, well, you know what? Let's just make them an area where they're supposed to get 50 friends and go in there and smash
Yeah.
everything.
Just roll through and smash all the things.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So is that what the extra chests are a nice touch. It's just, hey, some more little rewards to pick up along the way. Is that what everything, as you're looping around and up, is that what everything was designed with that in mind, was 50 people just rolling through? And
I mean, I think
Face smashing.
you can sneak around. Like if
there's
no,
ways.
you can't.
This guy
No.
plays
Well,
thief.
Kirk
He's
hurts.
pretty good at
I
it.
can sneak around.
Yeah.
Maybe you
He
need
gets
to
to
roll
the top.
better
He's like, make
character."
this harder. I'm like, you're a thief. You're a really good thief.
That was just diabolical. That was
Yeah. Well.
amazing. We need to record that and use it for something. That was the happiest sound just now.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing I've only taken my elementalist in there, and I need to go in there with my thief is the thing.
Yeah.
'Cause
it is.
Yeah,
I-
be careful if
I mean,
you're
you can do
following
it
a
with
thief.
mesmers and stuff like that. Yeah. I might just randomly turn invisible and you're by yourself.
Good luck, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went in there with my Ellie, and it sucked a lot. So
Take friends. It's made
Yes.
for friends. It's made for a group. It's more fun with a group. Even if you go in there by yourself, if you can survive, like it's just more fun with a group. Like
Yeah.
we wanted it to be the place you go when you're like,
going
hey,
with the big group.
hey guild, Come.
Yes.
This is Guild Wars after all.
Yeah,
Let's
it's therapeutic, right? It's therapeutic because you can just go in and kill centaurs and feel good about it and get rewarded for it, and then you know you couldn't do this by yourself, so it feels really rewarding.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so this has all been very fight intensive, but on the other side, I wanted to talk about, we've got this whole combat zone going on the map. There's some little respite here and there because the map is one that kind of feels lived in, and it feels like something that is actually populated and there are people there having their lives. So if you don't feel like constantly fighting White Mantle and fighting Jade, there are little places where you can go and just kick back and relax a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Relax the trap puzzle.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
very
not what
relaxing.
so that was definitely a focus for us because I mean it's right
Relaxation's
next to Queensdale, right? Like this, it's right next to Queensdale and Divinity's Reach. This is an area that people live, so we wanted to portray that part of when war happens in an area, people have lived there, so. We wanted to make it feel like you learned the story of the area, not just the story of the conflict that's going in the area. So that's why we have areas like New Lomhurst. There's a ton of stuff you can learn there. There's the Sager's Haven. There's everywhere, right?
Yeah, Lakeside Bazaar especially.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Lakeside Bazaar, it's own beast. But yeah, we wanted to give people places to rest because just war is exhausting. Like the active conflicts that you do against White Mantle on the map can be really draining after you play for a while.
And then you go around kicking Seraph that are trying to sleep awake.
Right. Yeah. So then you tell them to wake up because you want to take their place and take a nap. Yeah.
Get up.
But yeah, it's just one of those important things. Like you fight for a while, you want to take a little break, but you don't have to leave the map to do so because there's still plenty of really nice, cool areas to explore. So.
Yeah. There's a nice balance I noticed between combat and non-combat on the Renowned Hearts, and since those cycle through every day, I found myself so grateful for that because I enjoy doing them. Some days I don't necessarily feel like going in there and beating up White Mantle over and over and over. I'd rather just plant flowers and get it done because I don't feel like fighting. I just want to get this heart done.
It's always time for flowers.
I think honestly people underestimate the need for normalcy in situations of war. I'm getting a little real right now, but people need that. If you're in war, even if things are blowing up all around you, people need that thing that reminds them of what it was like when things weren't all blowing up around them. So it's an important part of sort of I guess dealing with that sort of reality that you're in right now.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, there are a lot of real world things, that's hard to say, that carry into our game, and it's always been that way. I mean, that's not a brand new concept to us, but that's something that you've found in this combat zone everywhere I've turned.
Yeah, I think if you look at old pictures of the Battle of Britain, for example, when they were just getting bombed and bombed and bombed, you'll see people still putting on their suits, putting on their top hat, going out drinking their tea, trying to act like the world needs to keep going on because if it doesn't, we've lost, basically. Yeah. So we were trying to sort of get that feel. Yeah,
there's that element of that. You need that normalcy, and also sometimes you need a break.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I need a break. I need to just have some fun. I need to throw a dead fish at White Mantle.
Again,
tell me
therapeutic.
That is therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yes. Please tell me about that.
Fish lines.
Whose idea was that?
Was that Heather? Yeah, that was Heather's idea.
That was Heather?
She was like, what's a fishing village? What are they going to have? Chum buckets. What's our great use for chum buckets?
Rotten fish. Let's toss it on the White Mantle.
Yep.
It's one of those things, you're a dragon slayer. You can do whatever you want. Let's go throw fish at people.
Could you imagine being that White Mantle? You're sitting there. Who threw this chum at me? Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
I'm sure it was an accident. It's fine. It's really, really, totally okay.
Yeah.
It's a good mix. It's felt like a good balance over the past few days. So
something for everybody.
What's
even
your guys'
chum lovers?
Yep.
Oh gosh. Oh. So what's your guys' favorite something? What's your favorite non-combat thing?
In the open world?
Yes.
You can go first. I have to think about it.
That was not nice.
Yep.
Just threw him right under the bus. Yes.
I'd say the cave towards the south end. They got to it a lot quicker than we thought.
Absolutely.
We tried
Way
to make
faster.
it like a puzzle that we hoped would take them at least a couple days to figure out. Nope. They figured it out pretty quickly. But there's
you guys are quick. You guys are
really
super
quick,
fast.
like impressively quick. We're gonna have to make things just so much more
I
complicated
hit
next
the
time.
sticks.
I know. Anyway, that
Boy,
that
if I had a
entire
nickel
cave,
for every time someone said that.
that cave area was probably my favorite. You got to see all the gravestones of people who had died in the first war in Krita, which is actually content I worked on. So like it was cool to be able
so
to have that area in
a
there.
little callback
Yeah, I'm
there.
biased. Yeah.
You're allowed.
They all got to be buried somewhere. That's a
True.
good monument to them, right?
I'm
It's
so
like-
glad they're buried.
It was also
Actually-
like that area was just visually impressive. Like especially since you could go under from a different route and you could sort of see up there. You could see the glow of
Yeah.
the thing. It was
Yeah.
just like, I want to get there, but I don't know how to. And so you had to figure out
Yeah,
the
our
puzzle
map
to get
artist
in
did a
there.
really good
And you
job.
figured
of-
they'd be working on it for a while.
And then they didn't, and they figured it out.
Good job, guys.
I like that
Now
area
they're
as
gonna make
well.
it harder.
Just because it's like a slice of time, right? You're watching a priestess of Melandru doing what she did every single day for years and years, and you're kind of just trying to see what it was back then. You know, so it's, I don't want to double down on that, so I'll try to think of a different area.
Yeah, Bus is coming for you now.
Oh man, Bus. I actually really like, I really like the cave, the trap puzzle up north.
Yeah.
It's just so unique. Whereas like when I
Yeah.
think, like jumping puzzles, generally you go up, right? This one
Right.
you're going down. So it's just something
Oh,
completely
you're going
different.
down, all right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's gonna hurt.
different definitions of that word.
It's gonna hurt so bad.
Yeah. But it's just so different and it's fun and challenging, and it's also fun to watch people die and get hit by, logs.
The swinging logs.
So that was
It's
probably
wonderful.
my favorite thing. I see that face, and I'm thinking mission accomplished.
Yeah.
But
You really don't have to look that happy, is the thing.
yes.
So, can we talk a little bit about how that came to be? Because I was kind of interested in, was it a map artist?
It was a map artist. It was
Who
actually
had that?
it was Kevin Green, our map artist. He had started working in the area because we wanted the survivalist area up there.
I did not survive.
He's better at
But as he was showing us, he's like, "Oh, and by the way, I sort of made this trap puzzle. You guys can use it if you want or not. It's up to you." We're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna use it."
Excuse me?
Oh yeah.
you made an intricate trap puzzle?
Give it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think we'll probably use that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was his initiative, and I'm super glad he did it because it turned out really awesome.
It really did. And I make faces at you, but that's just because I was bad at it. The exploration part of that was really exciting. Excuse me. Because when I went down there for the first time, I'm thinking, oh wow, I've found this little puzzle. I've moved these boxes aside, and oh yeah, I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna get this chest, and it just went on and on and on and on, and it's such a cool little thing to find underneath this map where I thought I'd already seen everything, and realizing there's this entire enormous cavern underneath
Yeah.
to explore, and not all surprises are good surprises.
Depends what your definition of the word good is.
Well, it's not swinging logs.
All right.
Is the
fair
thing.
enough, Fair enough.
But I was laughing, and it was fun. It was something unexpected, and it kept me interested, and that's what I like. So it's
We always try to have things for explorers. And actually, Mo is a big proponent of of exploring. He himself is an explorer, so he always puts pressure on us. Like, what is there for me to discover in your map? What is the fun thing that I'm gonna walk around the corner and I'm gonna see this thing? I'm gonna be like, wow, that's awesome. So
Have we
for
seen
us-
him do the trap puzzle?
I have not. Ooh, now I
We
do.
should make him do it.
But I,
Watch
mean,
him.
I know he's aware of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you just wanting to stand behind him and point and laugh? Is that?
That's what we do.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
Let me know, because I just want to hide around the corner and watch. I just
Next
wanna see
time
how
on
that
Guild
goes.
Chat. No.
From a safe distance
Yeah.
is the thing.
Tables
So-
may be flipped.
A little bit. All right. I want to go over one more thing before we move on to the story and talk about the morale system, because that was kind of a callback to the first Guild Wars, which made me love it out of pure nostalgia.
Yeah. So in Guild Wars 1, as you killed bosses, you would get a I think was it 2% each boss
Yeah.
kill or something like that. You get a little morale boost, and that would increase your energy and health. Obviously, energy is not a thing for at least all professions in our game. So instead, we did damage increase and health increase and XP increase, percentage based, and we're like, well, that's pretty cool. But how can we make it cooler?
Yeah.
So then we added boons that you get when you enter combat in addition to that, so you can get might and fury and swiftness and
summon a shining blade ghost to help you out.
You've
seen those around the map. That's what it is.
Yeah, if you're at 9 or 10% morale boost, there's a chance that when you enter combat or when you kill something.
I think it's when you enter combat.
Nelly hooked it up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nelly. Was that you that said he was running behind you and you couldn't figure out what that?
Yeah, I didn't. I kind of forgot that was a thing. Like I said, like he said, Nelly was building it, and he's like, "Oh, what is the shining blade ghost following me?"
Why is this thing?
Yeah.
What is
I thought. Then I had a ghost
me?
friend. Like I just had a nice ghost friend helping me out. Thought he, what a bro.
I like it.
But yeah, we wanted something that like rewards you for staying in the map, for succeeding in the map.
Yeah.
It goes away if you die. It goes down if you're downed. But if you stay alive and you complete events and you kill White Mantle, it works its way up. And then, you get better benefits the longer you stay, the longer you have it.
I like it.
Yep. We liked the throwbacks to GW1.
Yeah.
It's just a good opportunity to do so.
Yeah. The nostalgia person in me greatly appreciates that.
Oh, yeah.
And that actually reminds me of one more thing, and that's that you mentioned being downed. That 5th downed skill.
Yeah.
Oh, man, the mastery
is super fun. Who put that together?
That was Eric. Eric F. I don't know how to say his last name. Figures from?
I'm not gonna try.
Yeah.
You can just say Eric. It's fine.
Eric F.
Because I don't see
Eric with
anybody.
a K.
I don't see anybody being like, "That's." I don't know which Eric, and I have a problem with that. So
Yeah.
it's Eric.
Yep, it's Eric. So he made that. We had thought of connecting it to the Spectral Agony skill because we had come up with the idea of a down skill originally, and then we're like, well, how do we tie that into our content thematically? And one thing that players have basically wanted to do since Prophecies was cast Spectral Agony.
Ultimate power.
And, just being able to do that anytime might be a little...
I mostly just want revenge.
Yeah.
Now you can now because you can use it across
I'm
all
angry.
Tyria, right? Yeah. Go down, find a Jade Construct, and burn them.
Yes.
They're gonna put you in a down
deserve it.
state anyway, no matter what. They hit like
super
trucks.
do.
Jade constructs are jerks.
It's very true,
They're
and that's the
jerks.
kindest word you could possibly use.
Yeah, well, it's the only one I'm allowed to use on this show.
You asked. I gave you the answer I have to give you.
It was cool though when we were building it, just because channeled skills aren't really used that much in the game. Like catapults and like web and
It's
stuff
true.
use them. So it was a cool opportunity for us to experiment with that. Just like the longer you can hold the button, the longer, the wider the range is. So you have to. It's risk versus reward, right? Like you have to make sure you have enough time and your health isn't low enough
Yes.
that you can get the maximum range of it. But if you can, then it does a lot of damage. So
Yeah, there's kind of a learning curve there, as I figured that out. All right, well, let's go and talk about the story a little bit, and how we got reminded that Jenna's kind of a badass.
Yeah.
'Cause
So that's actually...
that was fun.
Yeah,
Surprise.
I don't know that you've really seen that in
Yeah.
game. Like, you've seen her defend herself. Seen her do a few illusions, or Anise doing illusions on her behalf. But you had never really just seen her, like, inner combat. You read it in the books. If you read the books, like, she did some damn impressive things.
She did
to the
some
point,
stuff.
like, to people who didn't read the books, they might think that this is coming out of left field. But the people who did read the books might have actually been thinking the entire time, like, I know you could do more than that.
Why are you just hanging around in your
why
throne
are
room?
You, yeah,
Yeah.
why are you hiding behind Anise? Like, aren't you a crazy badass mesmer? And
Yeah.
sure enough, she is.
Guess what?
she didn't
Yeah.
want to be seen as like a menacing ruler, right? Like she can't just go
Right.
over and being
She saved it
militaristic.
when she needed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
just fool her once, shame on her.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
twice
other
I'm gonna
thing.
cast
Yeah.
That's another
a big,
thing. Like when
big shield.
when Scarlet attacked, like people died, the city got wrecked.
She was
So
kind
this
of
is
caught
def-
unprepared.
She was kind of calm, yeah. So this is definitely a growth moment for Jenna. Fool me once, yeah, like you said, that thing. As
Yeah.
George W. Bush would say, can't fool me twice.
Yeah, she kind of had everything locked down. She had the ministry in there, and she was like, "All right, some of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you are about to know what I'm talking about."
Right.
And we had the one guy trying to preempt her, and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna put a halt to this, and I'm gonna make it seem like she's being tyrannical." And
He's probably eating those words now.
did he make it?
I think he made it. And I don't think he was one of the traitors, by the way. Like, I think he was just
Okay.
kind of caught
I
in
don't
the
remember.
middle
I just panicked and started murdering everything. So I didn't really.
Well, yeah,
I didn't really
Jade
catch. There
Construct
was
popped
just a
up
lot
in the
of
middle of the ministry. You were kind of preoccupied.
There was a lot happening.
Yeah. Minister Arden, unfortunately, did not make it.
May he rest in peace.
Silence. Yeah, but she was, I mean, she was set. She was like, all right, attack coming in, giant bubble.
Yep.
She was ready. She didn't want to
was
be caught
ready.
off guard again. It was almost like a personal pride thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
she got caught off guard once. She's not going to let that happen again.
So can we take a moment to appreciate Logan staggering in like, I am here to save you.
Staggering and shirtless, might you add.
So like it's a good thing that he didn't show up a couple seconds sooner, because Jenna was pointing in that general direction when she was questioning the dude who ran off. So that could have ended very badly.
Yeah, and she just
Fortunately,
happens to...
it didn't. Yeah.
That would have... Somebody could have... I mean, one of y'all could have had him come in a little sooner. I'm not everybody probably thinks that would be funny, I guess.
What?
Sorry.
For her to accidentally knock out Logan?
Yes. I'm really amused by this. But maybe
I
it's
don't
not
think he
okay.
would be.
No.
No.
Logan would.
He already
most
took enough
definitely
emotional
not.
beatings. Let's not give him the
Poor Logan. All right.
telekinetic beatings on top of it.
All right. I will not advocate for the accidental brutalization of Logan.
Sounds like something.
Yeah, he's been through a lot.
He has. He's had a rough time. But yes, you're right. His timing was probably as good as it could have been.
Oh yeah.
But she did. It was interesting to see her just kind of hang back until all of that was needed, and then just as much as was needed, she didn't do anything huge and flashy. Just, hey, you and you. Yeah, I saw that coming. City's protected. I'm all good.
She's ruthless. She can totally be ruthless.
Yep.
She just doesn't want to show that side, because that's
Yeah.
not really what a ruler's supposed to be like.
Yeah, and
Looks
she
like-
wasn't over the top.
Yeah.
Just like all those Norn that were calling her a weak ruler need to take that back.
I forgot about that.
Reality check.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys arrange for us to like go check on them and see what they think at some point soon?
They're too busy
What do you
looking
think
at the
about me
crack at
now?
you.
Can we get Jenna to go up there?
Yeah. Just
I need a
start
minute just
pointing at them menacingly.
to watch them scatter.
Yeah, probably don't want to start a war.
No. All right. Well, then let's talk about Fortivenia, because this was interesting. You and I have talked about this a little bit, where you had to sneak around and mess up battle plans and poison their food and liberate prisoners. And the tech behind that got really cool after you worked with it some.
Yeah, actually, this originally didn't start out as complex as it ended up. We had done some similar things in the past where it was much more just, I guess, a simpler version of that.
Yeah.
But as I was working on it, actually, Mo again was giving me feedback, and he's like, "This could be cooler. This could be cooler. This could be cooler." And I was like, "You're right. It should be." But some of it did require new tech, like line of sight tech. We've always had a line of sight tech for attacks, obviously. Like a
Right.
missile knows if it hits a wall or something like that. But actually, just a creature looking at you or not, that wasn't in yet. So we got that. Then we used the facing in ways we hadn't used before, so you could actually literally do things behind their back, and because their back is turned towards you, they can't see you doing it.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah. And then we gave you the one skill, which is basically a "Does anybody see me?" check. It's like the look around
fantastic.
button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before that, they could see you through a wall, which was so incredibly unfair.
Yeah.
Eyes
that,
in the back of their head.
Yeah. It
They're strong enough. They don't need that. That's cheating.
yeah.
It is. It was super unfair.
Right. Yeah. So obviously we weren't going to ship it like that.
With that many of them running around, though, and one of the things that I had said was I had played with it a little bit before that was in, and I was running around and I was frustrated. I was thinking, this is impossible. This is not fun. It's a story step. I have to have it to progress. And then I went back, and I actually didn't know. I just happened to go back after you had finished that. And I was so much happier, and it ended up being one of my favorite story steps. I was having so much fun sneaking around, and getting that tech in made all the difference.
Yeah.
It was so much more fun. Yeah, finding out, okay, yes, they can't actually see through walls anymore, and I can sneak behind their back.
Yes, you can.
And getting that positioning and watching and moving around and seeing what I can do depending on which way they're facing and where they're standing
It
makes an enormous difference.
It was important to get that feeling good, just because, like, we wanted to convey the fact that you can't just send in a huge army into that area because it's swarming with a ton of white mantle and jade constructs, but two, there's a crap ton of bloodstone in there, and we've seen what happens when the white mantle mess with the bloodstones. We didn't want Lake Doric being nuked.
Yes.
So we can't just send in a large force. So we wanted to make it.
Please stop scraping bits off of that bloodstone.
Yeah.
Does not end well.
Yeah.
Actually, let's talk about those stockpiles of bloodstone, because it's a little scary and creepy in there, and they're making cannons with... I mean, they're weaponizing this stuff at this point.
Yeah, actually, they have been for a while. If you read some of the journals in episode 1, actually, they're basically the first act of being the new leader. Caudicus was like, I'm tired of all this Mersat stuff. Deprioritize that. Our new focus is weaponizing bloodstone magic and weaponizing anything else we can come across, which is which is how they got those lovely jade constructs. And then in
bad.
episode 4, who, me?
No.
Oh, Caudicus.
Caudicus.
Gotcha. All right.
No, you're bad.
And then in episode 4, they got the jade cannons, which is basically a combination of Mersat and bloodstone magic.
Is it okay that those are kind of fun?
The jade cannons? Yeah, they're supposed to be fun.
Thank you.
Like, actually,
Tell the queen that, but yeah.
Yeah. she probably doesn't think they're
I
very
am not
fun.
screwing with her. No.
That was actually something that just sort of developed organically over time. It was like they were launching the cannons, and then we're like, hey, it'd be cool is if it made a ley line that you could fly back. Because that way it gives us, because we typically don't just want to put ley lines places if it doesn't make sense. And it's not going to make sense for ley lines to suddenly burst out of a valley map under normal circumstances, or a Krita map. But in this case, we could make it make sense. So you could write it back. And then I was thinking, like, well, what would be really fun is if you flew over there and then you could bomb the things. Yeah. And we conveniently had gliding skills from episode 1.
Yeah.
And since they were using bloodstone magic for these attacks, it makes perfect thematic sense for me to justify giving you those gliding skills.
It works.
Yes.
Some of my favorite things happen when you guys go, hey, what would be really cool?
It's like half of our lives.
Yeah.
See if we can make that work.
What would sound awesome?
Yeah.
That'd be great. So, let's see. They found old Mersat weapons on the Isle of Janthe. There's like a whole big backstory thing going there.
Probably is, sure, but you've never been there, so you don't know what it is.
I'm just...
We just know that at one point the last direction we saw Caudicus going was the Isle of Janthe.
Yeah.
And then when Caudicus showed back up, he had new Mersat weapons.
That's what he's been doing for the past couple months.
He's doing awful things.
Well, he's kind of a jerk.
He's kind of insane.
He does. Someone should stop him.
Yeah, somebody should do something about that guy.
It'd be cool. It's moving back to Caudicus' manor.
Oh, funny you should mention that.
Wow.
Perfect segue.
It worked out well.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Who wants to talk about the crazy guy's house?
The crazy guy's house.
Well, seriously.
That's what it is now known as.
Yeah.
Crazy guys.
He's
It really
so
is.
here's the thing about the crazy guy's house and the crazy things in the crazy guy's house. I don't think, aside from Her Majesty Lady Wisteria Whiskington herself,
It was all there before.
I don't think I added much of that craziness. That has been there since launch. If you go into the dungeon and look up on the ceiling, sure enough, dude's got a mirror up there. If you look on the wall, sure enough, for some reason, he's got a painting of Logan. I did not make these things up.
Yeah,
I just rolled
been
with
there.
them. Yep.
Canuck just
asking the questions we've all been asking for the past 4 years.
I was surprised. I don't spend enough time, apparently, looking around in dungeons. You can bet I'm going to be checking out the ceilings.
Your first instinct when you see a bed is not to look above it.
No.
Probably should be now.
No. I have concerns.
Yeah.
But it was surprising to hear that all of this stuff has been in since launch. And I don't know, a lot of you guys have probably seen this stuff and you're like, yeah, that room full of cats.
Yeah, the room full of cats.
Was
it
there.
was full. I added the one cat you can interact with. The most beautiful cat in the history of Tyria.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the other ones were there. There was always that weird cat room in his house. Even the spinny room that was not accessible at launch. It was content that we didn't end up actually using, but it was there, and some players found it, and so we were able to finally use it. Now.
I like how you call it the spinny room.
The spinny room. What else would you call it?
I
The
don't know.
face room?
Yeah.
Well,
What
the
can
face
I call
room.
Caudicus' creepy dungeon.
Okay, the whole thing is Coticus's creepy dungeon.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the spinny room without belaboring the point too much. I mean, we just kind of had this hanging out, and Josh, I think.
Yeah, Josh
polished
Foreman.
it up a little bit. Thanks, Josh.
Pretty much anything with Coticus's face on it was probably thanks to Josh. It's a labor of love. Because
Is that what it is?
It is a labor of love
Is
because Coticus is the spitting image of Josh Foreman's boss. And he is not thrilled with that fact that Coticus is the spitting image of himself.
You know what we should do? We should make a mask of that face.
Oh my god. No, so really, honestly,
Guess
when we
what?
started using the dungeon, and he got word that we were using the dungeon, he's like, just whatever you do, don't use the room. That's my face
guys!
that spins. And I'm like, okay, I'll try not to use it. But then Josh heard we were using it, and he was like, no, you have got to use this room. Like, absolutely. In fact, Josh actually went through and gave it a total makeover because he's trying to say
And you're like, oh, well, if I've
it's
got
too
to.
old. It's too old.
I
The
mean,
textures
we
are
can't
too
tell
old.
Josh no.
So now Josh, he actually went in there and like made it all pretty. So he's like, now it's pretty. Now you got to use it. I'm like, oh, I'm using it. So then
Just because Josh Foreman says you've got to do something.
I mean, he's got good ideas.
Yeah.
Like, this is a great
All
idea.
right, Mark, we can hear you laughing. Mark's like crying over here.
So like,
yes,
word got
all
out
the
that we were
faces.
using the spinny room. So then I was asked, well, then please, for the love of God, whatever you do, just don't make the reward mask my face.
Our character art, it's like,
Yeah.
that would be a...
And apparently
awesome
the
idea.
character art, this one was not my fault. This was not me. This is not me being like, oh, you don't want that? I'm going to do that. That was just him saying this, and then 3 days later we had concept of his face as a mask.
Who did that?
Bo. And it's amazing. It's the greatest thing
That
ever.
is-
It looks like a glowing Guy Fawkes mask. It's really
This
cool.
is how ideas unfold.
Yeah. It's
You know-
basically,
Awesome
please,
idea.
please, God, don't do that.
Okay.
It is. Amazing is a word. I keep looking at him and it's just like that beard looks like a handle.
You can go ask Dave.
No. No. I don't want anything to do with that. All right, so we have so many of that face.
Mm.
And Dave, I'm so sorry.
Now you can get some of it as a Guildhall decoration.
Never.
It
never
lives
forget.
forever.
Yep.
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
that statue that's like the multi-piece that's inside of Beetleton Manor.
Mm-hmm.
You can have the guild statue.
So I'm running a little bit behind on that. I have not seen that Guildhall decoration, but I think that giant multi-piece statue is so much fun, and now I'm kind of tempted. But I feel bad.
Gonna have to consult with his butler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's the gatekeeper
Mm-hmm.
for those kinds of things.
Oh, you guys. I don't know. All right, so what else is cool in Coticus's Manor? There are letters everywhere.
Yeah.
Tattling.
Well, not necessarily tattling. It's the Coticus is on the receiving end of these letters. There's a lot of things in the human personal story and a little bit deeper into the personal story, like in some of the Order of Whispers chains, where Coticus has always been in our minds sort
Yeah,
of the
he's been
puppet
hanging
master
around.
of these things. So this was sort of actually connecting those dots and making it sort of official that, like, yeah, you know, when you literally made your character and showed up in the tutorial and a bunch of centaurs were attacking, guess who let them that close
Guess
to the capital? It was Coticus.
Yeah. If you've played through the human personal story and you haven't gone through and found these letters, go through and check them out. They are pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. What else? We've got... Oh, there are some profession-specific things in there. I knew I was going to forget that. That's why I wrote it down.
Yeah, so that's actually something that the raid team did for the first time. One of their raids, there's a locked door, and they made it so if you're a thief, you could pick the lock.
I'm so excited about this.
Makes a lot of sense. As a thief, I approve.
Yes.
So I decided to take that and kind of roll with it and added some of that to the instance. So if you're an engineer, there's some turrets you can come across and you can activate them and turn them friendly to you. If you're a necromancer, there is a opposing necromancer who's summoning skeletons, and you can steal them from him when he is dazed. There's a ranger pet, a very mistreated ranger pet. Like, as you walk up to this guy, you hear
It's not okay.
he's not a nice guy, in his own words even. So when the ranger pet is sort of in a dazed state, you can convince them to switch sides with nice words.
Good.
kindness wins.
Take
out,
better care of that dog.
Yeah, definitely.
Playing animal control.
Yeah.
And the thief.
Oh
Can.
yeah, and a thief can pick a lock.
Oh, you forgot the important one.
As an
It's true.
Ellie, I prefer the foot key.
Just
I don't
It is so
understand. You should
satisfying.
just like burn the door down.
Where's the fun in that? I like the manor. I don't want to burn down the manor. There
Burn
might be
down the
someone
door.
in there.
There's your fun right there. What
Yeah.
else do you
I'm
need?
not that much. Well, I might be that much of a pyro. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see.
But it's definitely something that we want to keep in mind going forward when we make instances or if we make other content. Like if it makes logical sense and it's not like way out of scope or something like that, like sure, give them something cool to do.
And we've been doing more personalized stuff for a while, and I'm enjoying seeing that. So.
Yeah, anytime you can make a choice a player made meaningful to them significantly after when they made that decision, it's cool.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about some of the previously introduced characters that we've brought back?
Oh man, there's a lot of them.
There are so many, and you pick a few. You don't have to like go through the list exhaustively, but these are fun.
Sin.
Yeah.
Sin's a
Is
big
that
one.
jerk
His
came back.
usual charming self.
That
He
nice
is.
paper
He's such a
maker.
sweet guy,
Yeah.
and he wants me to go find all this stuff that he thinks he can make some cash off of.
He sees opportunity in
He's
the
pragmatic.
chaos. Yes.
That's the word.
There's so much, it's not necessarily
word
his
I
stuff
could
you're
use.
finding, right? It's not his stuff you're finding, but it's things that he thinks he can make money off of.
Right.
Yeah.
Giant piece of a tower from up north, I can sell it somehow.
Somebody will buy
Bring
that.
it, yeah, someone will buy that. So
Yeah. And the Wees are there. Lady Wee and Minister Wee are both there. And at the end of episode 1, you saw the mesmer who helped Conicus escape was named
Yeah.
Balette Wee. That's the only thing you saw was just her name. And there was a lot of speculation about that. A lot of people thought that she was her daughter, or their daughter, which she turned out to be. And so in the earlier instance, you actually get to talk to the Wees, and you get to sort of have a somewhat awkward conversation about them. Like, so how's that traitor daughter of yours?
yeah, about that.
Yeah.
This is like the most uncomfortable party ever.
Yeah. But you could tell that like early on they're still holding out hope for her
Yeah.
that she's just
That was
just
too well
dumb
done.
and young, and hopefully she'll come around.
Do we want to talk about Countess Anise a little bit? Because she's still hanging around, and she is super
man.
fun.
She had a lot of character development in this episode.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she, straight up
She's my
defied the
favorite.
orders of her queen.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she's told to not mess in that business, and then there she is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she wasn't thrilled with how things went. Was it the previous episode or the one before?
I'm not sure.
I've lost track. But she
She certainly
kind of
isn't-
trying to.
There's a conflict
She's certainly
there.
not.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's
there's
not
absolutely.
happy.
I don't want to make her sound awful.
Right. I mean, she's certainly going to be not happy at the White Mantle Resurgency as a Shining Blade member. That's going to
Yeah.
be a
She's a servant of Kryta as much as she is
Yeah.
a servant of the queen.
Right.
And those two might not always see eye to eye.
right. But
So.
like, and also she wasn't there when the queen was attacked. In the initial instance, she's not there. The queen actually asked you for backup because Anise and Canuck were looking for Coticus at that time.
Yeah.
So the fact that her sworn duty is to protect the queen, and then the queen's life was threatened, and she wasn't there, like, that's going to have an impact on you. And it's
Yeah.
going to make you a little bit more, I guess, less calculated than you would normally be.
Yeah. Is it, again, a pride thing? Like, she
Yeah,
didn't.
she's
She,
dealing
oh,
with
crap,
that.
they caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that. I
Especially
wasn't there
since
for my queen.
if you think about it, like, even back in the personal story, Anise and Logan, for that matter, have both sort of been telling the queen, like, dude, this Conicus guy, like, you can't trust him. Like, why are you putting up with this? Now, granted, the queen, being diplomatic and understanding, like, be that as it may, it's not like she was dumb and she didn't realize this.
Yeah.
She's just like, well, yes, I know I shouldn't trust him,
understand
and I
that.
don't trust him, but I can't just go lopping people's heads off. That isn't the type of kingdom we got here.
Yes, that's not how it works here.
Yeah. Maybe in
That's how
Char
Coticus
culture.
wanted it to work.
Do what?
That's how Coticus wanted it to work.
It's true, and we see how that would have turned out. Not
Yeah.
great. And maybe in char culture. I don't know. Maybe you just
That's just by Guild Wars 2 or Guild Wars 1 jab at the Char.
very
I
nice.
love the Char now.
Well, now, really?
yeah, they're all right.
It feels like a lie.
I love Redlock. Come on, how could you not love Redlock?
Right?
Redlock is amazing.
Okay. The rest of it still feels a little bit like a lie. And I'm thinking I know who wrote that one char joke in the spinning room.
I think that might have actually been Josh.
Really?
Yeah.
That one, I liked that one. I sat there going, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's especially good
That
because
is rude.
they each of the rooms do have 2 options, but one of the options sends you back to the previous room. So there was actually somebody who reported on there, this is a bug. I keep on picking kitten, and I keep on ending up back in the first room.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You were technically correct.
You were technically correct.
But
Hence why Jade Consort didn't come out of the wall and kill you, but you weren't correct. You weren't correct enough.
do not let me forget to ask you about that afterwards.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break and pick some questions, and then we will answer some of your questions momentarily. We will be right back.
For years, we've had a fester inside the kingdom, a creeping undertow that sucked some of our friends and family into its darkness.
This is a moment in life where you will look back one day and say, I made a stand, or I did nothing.
As we are poised to be smashed between 2 rising elder dragons, we cannot stand for a threat from within.
I was honored when Codicus tapped me for the job of regicide, and I will see it to its bloody end.
We will rout this serpent out of our home. Kryta will not be broken. Divinity's reach will not fall.
All right, we are back, and I have a handful of questions for you guys. First one is from the Emerald Templar. Their question is, are the bandits white mantle agents or just random thugs hired by Codicus to forward the mantle agenda? Who are these guys?
So I'd say it's a mix of
Yeah.
both.
Okay.
The bandits you encounter in the personal story before this, like the original personal story, I'd say the majority of them were probably not aware that they were working for the White Mantle. They were just, well, this guy's got gold, and he's got a good amount of gold, so I'm going to take it, and I'm going to do what he says.
Go beat people
Kind
up.
of pyramid schemey.
At this point,
Jeez.
the bandits are going to obviously realize that they're working for the White Mantle because they're pretty overt with their
Yeah.
white mantledness. So like that's probably a combination of, well, the money's probably still good, and then some of them, frankly, you're kind of in it too deep at that point. You've aligned with a guy who ended up being pretty dang treasonous, so either you stick with that and hope he wins, or
Yeah, you're in at this point.
yeah.
It's similar to the centaurs too. We kind of, in the personal story, it was kind of implied that the bandits and the centaurs might have been working together, and so maybe that helped. They found out later on along the lines that that's how Codicus got to know some of them, which is also shown in the letters in Codicus' manner.
Codicus' overarching goal, prior to having his hand sort of forced to just flat out invade, was to show that the queen was a poor ruler, to show that she wasn't keeping her people safe. Look at all these bandits everywhere. Look at all these centaurs everywhere. Like, he was creating the problems
Well, if you don't like
that
it,
then
stop
he could
bringing
then
them
present
in.
himself as the solution to that problem.
Yeah.
And the bandits are just one aspect of that.
All right, that's fair. Let's see, Black Dragon GW. I like that name. How much? You already kind of answered this. How much did you enjoy using that freaky Codicus room?
Immensely.
Yeah.
It was
Got
fun.
better and
Seriously,
better every
guys.
single day.
Yeah. I was glad that we were finally able to release it. Anytime there's something cool like that like you can only get to if you stand on your head and do this weird thing, go around this wall or whatever.
Don't
like,
do that.
I'm always like, I wish we could just release that so everybody could see that, so it's not just the people who do that
Stand on
can
their
see
head.
it. Yeah. So it was great to finally be able to release that and let people see it in all of its glory.
It was also fun just because it was kind of like, it's one of those things that was, people knew about it, but they're like, oh, we'll never see this, right? It's like,
Yeah.
nope, it had a
Surprise!
purpose. Yep, it actually had a purpose.
Nice.
So.
All right, let's see. H. Night Road. Will there be more profession-related abilities in the future? For example, a thief being able to pick open the door. I think like that, not I would like a thief being able to pick open a door because we already did that.
It has to make sense, right? It has to make
Yeah.
sense, and it has to be within scope. That's the two big ones.
Yeah.
that's on the table.
Yeah, one thing as I was making, and it is something.
It's back.
Even that table. Early on, as I started thinking about adding those things, I was like, I'm not going to be able to come up with something that fits for every profession, for all 9 professions. Like it's just not possible, especially if you try to go into specializations as well. It's like no single instance is going to be able to have something for every profession and have it not feel forced. Like it's just not possible. That said, like we want to do that whenever it makes sense, whenever it works, and try to, like in different circumstances, different professions are going to have a more valid reason for that to come up for them. I guess let me put it that way. In this case, you were sneaking in a place, so the thief one makes sense, and there were ranger pets and all that stuff. So like it fit.
Can we talk about burning down that door? I'm sorry.
I mean, like
She wants to do it more than I do.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll be good.
yeah.
I just want to set that door on fire and see what happens.
You do have to not
guard
do
our
it in a way
doors.
that makes everybody ask, well, why can't I always do that? That's another
I'm
caveat.
fine always burning the doors.
I can't make every door in the game burnable. I ain't signing up for that. You could do it.
Fine. Yeah, that would end super well.
Yeah.
That would end really well. Let's look at another question so I don't have to learn how to code really fast. Let's see. Whose idea? Oh, Lord, this question. Whose idea was it to put a fun time with Farron Mesmer in Codicus's manor? And you can't say Dara.
That's what it's called now.
It
by the
was
way.
me. I did it, but it was very much inspired by Dara. She loves Farron.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I've
if she
heard.
hears you say Farron from across the room,
She's going to like combust in
Farron?
here in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Dara's the Mesmer that is.
I should have just named the Mesmer Dara.
There's no.
She'd be fine with that.
There's lumberjack there.
Yeah.
Like can't have her being a white mantle.
We have Lumberjack Dara?
Oh yeah. In the lumberyard area.
She's got some great puns.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Again,
As great as
definition
puns
of
can
great.
be,
Yeah.
I guess.
Because, hey, Dara's puns are pretty good.
I mean, you rate puns on like how much they make you groan, so
It's true.
they're pretty good.
They are pretty good. All right. Let's see. It is almost 1 o'clock. It's getting kind of late, so I will let you guys get back to work.
All right.
And I will let you guys go until next week. Make sure you follow our channel so you catch next week's Guild Chat, and I will see you then. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Mm-hmm.